Every episode I start, I'm eating something. Like I'm having a duet ice cream right now and I'm happy. Anyways, this is Unhinged. Today's topic is parental issues. So before I start this, let me just give on like a full-on disclosure. I always tend to get into trouble with whatever I do. Like literally, I just breathe and I get in trouble because someone thinks that it's a fun hobby for them to somehow let my family know whatever I'm doing, no matter what I'm doing, right? Like if I post something, if I say something, if I breathe, if I walk, if I dance, if I jump, whatever. And I always get into trouble for it. So that is one of the reasons, like that has added a lot to the topic today, because that has definitely not helped in my relationship with my parents. And so if you just like want to go ahead and say it, I don't care at this point. Like I don't care, go ahead. Like if that's what you find joy in out of everything that you can be doing with your life, be my guest. I just feel so bad for you. Also, I have to talk about Al, who's my friend, and this guy, he spent so much time because my dumbass don't know how tech works. I'm so tech stupid that I did not know how to change my previous episode into an MP3. And we spent so much time together, but then he ended up doing it at the end. But see, that's Mac's problem. I hate Mac. Anyways, I'm just gonna get into the topic. I think the first thing about this whole topic is I'm not going to be talking about my parents in specific. Like I'm not going to be talking about them. I'm just going to be talking about how I have been affected during all of this. Like I'm just going to be talking about what I felt and like what I go through or what I went through. I'm not going to be talking about whatever they did. Like I don't care. Because this is not like a blame game at this point. Like I gave up on that a long time ago. I'm just, accept it, own it. So to start with, the impending feeling of never being good enough. Someone with parental issues would know exactly what I mean, because the feeling of not being good enough because of your relationship with your parents is something that no other no amount of breakups or any other relationship can give it to you. It's such an empty feeling. No matter what you do, right? Everything feels so empty. No matter you won the Oscars and you feel empty because you never felt like you were a good enough child to begin with. So no matter what you do, you feel like it's just not going to be known or be acknowledged, which makes you take really, really, really bad decisions in life. As for me, I have made horrendous decisions in my life. And that's how you learn. But that's how you learn through making stupid mistakes in life. That's how everyone learns. But somehow you find these small pockets of escapism or relief in following your heart for the first time, that you end up making the worst decisions you possibly could. But at that moment, it doesn't even feel like a bad decision, because who cares? No one cared when I was a good person, so why would anyone care if I do something bad? But that's where the stupidity is, because that's exactly the point where everyone suddenly cares. Everyone cares when you mess up. But after a point, you just grow so resilient to it, because that's how it's been your whole life. So who cares? Yeah, okay, they hate me, so what? Everyone has always hated me. So you get that kind of a mindset imprinted inside you. And since you always have these feelings of not being good enough, and since you make the worst decisions, you search in all the wrong places for some goddamn comfort. I have made like friends or been involved with people, no matter what it is, like as for work, for friends, whatever it is, just to like, I take everything to heart because I just want to be loved at the end of the day. Like I just want comfort, because whenever I mess up, never has there ever been a point in my life where the first thing that popped up into my head was, oh shit, I screwed up. I have to go and talk to my parents. My parents are the only people who can help me. Never have I ever thought that. The first thing that I think is, shit, they shouldn't find out. If they find out, I'm dead. I have to fix this no matter how, and I'll do no matter what it takes just for them to not find it. And that feeling's really like heartbreaking actually, because your parents are like the one set of people who are supposed to be there for you. You know what I mean? Like they are your family. So along the way, you just lose the meaning of family as a whole, because you just can't digest the fact that people can actually have good parents or good relationship with their parents because you've never had that. And I don't know if it's just a me thing actually, because I see like people having good relationship with their parents. I see videos, I see pictures, I see people wishing their parents on their birthdays. I see TikTok trends of mom and dad and all that stuff. And it feels so gimmicky to me. I'm not saying it's gimmicky. I'm not saying that it's a gimmick. I'm saying that it feels gimmicky to me because I don't relate to it. And I just don't understand how you can go to your parents just like that. And it sucks because at this point, like since I grew up not being close to my parents, I don't think I ever can bring myself to be like that, Whenever I see a family who's happy, there's like this huge gaping hole in my chest. Like I see it and I want to throw up. I feel like I'm gonna faint. I just physically, mentally, emotionally cannot handle seeing happy families. But that's because of envy, to be honest. Like it's not like I hate them. It's more like, why not me? You know what I mean? I think that's a feeling that nobody has to go through. Like no one has to go through that. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point, but nobody has to go through that feeling. And as someone who's going through that feeling, the only thing that I can do is try to make up for it in other ways. And usually things like this end up in like addictions. For me, it was Nick and shopping. Shopping mainly because like whenever I see something, I need it. Whenever like there was like a fight or something, at the end of the day, how it got resolved was like something would be bought for me, or like they'd order food from outside or something like that as a form of apology. That naturally made my love language gifting, right? And every time I see something that's appealing to me, like whatever it is, it can be a pen, it doesn't matter. If I see it and I need it, I need it. Like I don't need it actually, but I just need it mentally. I will spend money on it because of that joy it gives me. And I used to think that my love language was mainly, just hugs and all that stuff. But then later on, I realized in life, and I felt like a bad person for it. I realized that like my love language is gift giving. I love giving gifts and I love receiving gifts. And I feel like gifts hold so much emotions because that's what I've been introduced to my whole life. My whole life, apologies were in the form of gifts. amendments were in the form of gifts. Everything was just material goods. And honestly, it sucks, but I'm a material girl now. So like, if you guys want to like show me that you love me, send cash. Oh my God, wait, bare minimum. Oh my God. Speaking about cash, bare minimum. You settle for the barest of the barest minimum. You settle for anything. And I've let so many people walk all over me just because they treated me like a human being, like a decent human being. And I just thought, oh, they love me. Like, obviously they love me. Like, they love me because they did this. Like, they replied to my text or they looked at me for too long. It's not even bare minimum. I don't even know what to classify that as because it completely drives your like attention of comfort hunting into such an astray that anything and everything feels like it holds an importance. And it's crazy how much like it can affect you throughout your life, your relationships with people and all that stuff. Because then like now I cut off so many people, right? I have like the smallest group of people in my life right now. And I'm more than happy with it. I'm so happy with it. I love them so much. And those are like the core people who I've always had. Like there's no, maybe like one person who I met like pretty recently, like a year or two ago. But like other than that, I have zero people in my life who don't treat me the way I deserve to be treated, Like I raise my standards up so high. And this also enters in cute little mental illnesses like depression, anxiety, borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder, whatever it is. It just rules your life because you find so much, again, comfort. You hunt for comfort so much that you find comfort in your mental illnesses. Like at a point, I was so scared of getting better because I'm like, I don't know what it feels like to not be ill. Like what do I do without this? Like what do I do without feeling this way? To a point, like I was genuinely so scared of asking for help, and I still am, to be honest. Like I'm not even gonna bullshit with you right now. I still am pretty scared of asking for help, and it also messes up with your understanding skills. Like it's so hard for you to understand things like love, for example, or like genuinity, sincerity, sympathy, empathy, because everything is just translated into a completely different meaning since you don't know how to process these emotions. It also puts you in the most confusing self-image ever because unless I reached a level of standards where my parents were happy, I was never good enough. You know what I mean? And see, the thing is, I told you, I'm not gonna like blame anyone in here. But that can only be because they were brought up the same way, maybe. I never know how they were brought up. I don't know how their life is, especially with like dads and their lores. It's like a whole thing where like dads randomly pop out lores about their life. I don't know how their life was. So maybe that's exactly how they were brought up and they just think that this is the right way to bring up your kids, but it's not. And they don't care. They don't want to accept the fact that they're wrong sometimes. And they just do anything and everything to prove their point that they're right. They're doing the right thing when I'm not perceiving it in the same way as they are. It's so confusing to look at myself and look at what all I've done. And if you ask me right now what I've done, I cannot name a single good thing that I've done. The only thing that's in my head are my failures. And I have a lot of them. I have messed up a lot. I have a lot of failures. And it just comes to a point where these failures just start defining you, and it's really hard to break out of this circle alone. I love ice cream. And you get so trapped in this hole of like not being the child that your parents wanted. I can tell you confidently that I am nothing like my parents envisioned their child to be. I stick out like a sore thumb, even like in my family. My interests, my beliefs, my moral stuff, I forgot the word for it. Everything is so different from my family's that I can never like agree with them, on a point. Like, parents be saying the wildest shit ever sometimes. And it's so hard for me to like just look past it. So I go and correct them, and then there's a fight. Because, as I told you before, it's so hard for them to like accept the fact that they might be wrong. And there's no understanding that, if you feel that way and I feel like in a different way, both of our thoughts can coexist. That thought is like never present there. And it also like ruined my self-image in a way that if someone says something nice about me, I'll never accept it. On the other hand, if someone says something shit about me, I'm like, okay, I agree with you. I see it. I might not be as heartbroken as I used to be before, but I just kind of agree with it because that's what I'm kind of used to hearing. Like, once we were like sitting at dinner and I made the dinner or something that day. And my dad said like, I'm proud of you. And the thing is, I knew that in my heart that he did not like mean it with his whole heart, you know what I mean? But I sat on that table and I started crying. Like, I just broke out crying. I don't know why this memory is so like, it's just so vivid in my head. And I think about it all the time. And those 4 words, it broke me. Like, I've only heard my dad say it twice to me. And both of the times I never believed it because I just know that's not what he actually thinks of me. I know that I'm not the daughter that he wanted or he expected to be, I'm weirdly a lot like him, but also nothing like him. I feel like the only place where I'm genuinely like him is on my face and my food preferences. This is the similarity that I have with my dad, which is prominent. Other than that, and this is the things that people see. And internally, I am nothing like either of my parents. And the fact that they won't understand it, like they just never will. I just know that they won't. It's something that I had to come in terms with. So I've accepted it. But also, it's such a bitter acceptance. Like, acceptance does not always have to be good, right? And it's something that I was kind of forced to accept. It's something that I wish can change, but I don't think it will. I hope it will, but I don't think it will. Every person who I've met with parental issues, I've always had this relation to them. Like, I've always related to them. And it honestly breaks my heart that I don't feel this about me, right? But when I see someone else in my place, it genuinely breaks my heart because I don't see myself as I see them. I see them and I feel so bad because nobody deserves it. Nobody deserves to have issues, especially with their family. Your family is your home. At least they're supposed to be your home. They're supposed to be the people who you run to every time you have something happy or sad or scary happen to you, no matter what happens to you. But that's not the case for so many of us. And that genuinely makes me so sad. Because, see, if we had it from the beginning, right? I know damn well that we wouldn't be turning out this way, because I see people with a healthy relationship with their parents. I see how they turn out, and they're nothing like me, and I can't relate with them. If they have something going on with their life, I've heard my friends say, oh, I need to talk to my mom about this. And I was like, bro, she's gonna kill you. What are you doing? No. It's like, no. She might get mad, but she'll help me out. And I've never felt that. I've never had that, which sucks. And no matter how many times my parents are like, if you have a problem, come to us. If you need anything, come to us. I can never bring myself to go to them. I have completely disassociated myself from my parents, that everything I am, everything I believe in, everything I think, I did it. I brought myself up. Yeah, they gave me food and shelter and education and whatnot, but other than that, anything a person requires to grow up to be a good human being, I gave that to myself. And I'm not claiming that I'm a good person or an amazing person or anything, but you have this set of morals and standards. I had to take my time. I had no one to look up to. I had to take my time, and I'm still taking my time, and I'm building it up for myself. And it sucks because sometimes it's so easy to take it away from me, because there was never a foundation for it. I just build it up based on whatever I know and whatever I've seen and whatever I've done and whatever I've learned. I've also grown immune to so many things because of this. I can either be extremely hypersensitive, or I don't care. I genuinely do not care. It's so easy for me to just block out and cut out things. And a lot of other feelings and emotions which I've built up myself because I did not have a role model to turn to. Now, I'm okay with that. I've accepted it and I am okay with it. And every day I'm growing as a person. Will I mess up more? I will. I know I will. But I hope that in the future, I don't treat myself the way my parents treated me when I messed up. I hope that I can give myself the time and understanding and patience to recover from whatever has happened and whatever problems that I face. I hope that I'm strong enough to be there for myself. And when I know that I'm strong, I know that I can be there for others as well. I can be there for my friends who are going through the same thing, which is something that I genuinely love doing. I love helping out people. I love it when my friends come up to me and they're like, hey, I have this problem. I need your help, or I need your advice. I love helping them. I genuinely, it doesn't matter what I'm doing at that point of time. I love this whole concept of human connection because it's something that I had to learn on the way. It was not something that I watched and learned. So I think that's one of the good parts of, there's no good parts to this, but something positive that came out of it was that I learned about human connection all by myself. And that's a really nice feeling. It's a really nice feeling to know that people find comfort in you. There's also this insane feeling of loneliness and judgment that comes along with this. And I hope that anybody who listens to this knows that you're not alone, and none of your experiences, no matter how big or small they are, they're not invalid. I hope that anybody who has done worse shit than I have, I hope that you know that it can get better. Maybe not now, maybe not in the near future, but it will. It has to, It just has to. And I hope that for everyone, just as much as I hope that for me. I genuinely hope that I will get okay. Even through making mistakes, even through sometimes settling for less and then having the realization that I settled for less, even through all the mental illnesses, even through all the misunderstandings, even through the worst self-image you could possibly get. And even if you feel lonely as hell, you feel like nobody in this world loves you, or you're not worthy to be loved by anyone who do love you, I hope it gets better. But yeah, I also want to know about what you guys think about this. So drop me a message or whatever if you guys relate with this, and share your thoughts. I want to know too. I want to know what other people feel. That makes me feel less lonely as well. Every time I talk about this to someone who has gone through a similar thing, I feel like, hey, whatever I feel is valid. And I hope the people who talk to me feel that way as well. I think I'm going to stop this here. I'll probably have more to say about this right when I stop recording, or right when I'm done editing the goddamn episode, because I always have something to talk about. But it's okay. There's time. I'm alive. For now. Sorry. Yeah, I hope you like this episode. I'm posting it on YouTube as well, so Unhinged is gonna be on Spotify and YouTube. So check it out. Share it with your friends. Have fun. Bye.